మీరు కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ కి ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారా? మీరు మంచి ఆన్లైన్ కోచింగ్ కోసం ఎదురు చూస్తున్నారా? అయితే హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఇప్పుడు ఆన్లైన్ చేస్తుంది. ఆన్లైన్ కోచింగ్ ఫర్ ఏపీపీఎస్సి, టీఎస్పీఎస్సి, ఎస్ఐ కానిస్టేబుల్, ఆర్ఆర్బి, ఎస్ఎస్సి. 24/7 యాక్సెస్, ల్యాప్టాప్ ఆర్ మొబైల్ యాక్సెస్. హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్. Download the app and study materials our mobile app. Visit www.harshitinstitute.co.in. మీరు అనుకున్న జాబ్ ని సాధించండి. హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్. సెల్ 9032200190, 9676525789. youtube.com Harshit Institute.
Organ systems. In our body, there are, how our body is made. First of all, let us see. Every living organism starts its life with a single cell, and that single cell divides by mitosis process to form groups of cells called tissues. So, group of cells unite to form tissues, tissues unite to form organs, and organs unite to form organ systems, and these organ systems form an organism. In all the animals, organ systems are present. These organ systems form an entire organism, and in these organ systems there are many organ systems in our body: digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, circulatory system or transport system, endocrine system, and in addition we have nervous system, reproductive system also. So these many systems in our body form a whole human body. If it is an lion or kangaroo or whatever an organism is there, these all organ systems will be there in those organisms. First, let us see the digestive system. And we have seen the nutrition. In the nutrition occurs in the digestive system. This digestive system is a long coiled tube extending from 6 to 9 meters, extending from 6 to 9 meters in our body. And this digestive system, other name is also known as alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. This digestive system is a long coiled tube, and it is complete, starting with mouth, ending with anus. End with anus. So it starts with mouth. It is complete. It is not incomplete in our body. It is complete in our body, starting with mouth and the end with anus. First, let us see the mouth. So, the parts of digestive system are mouth, and it consists of alimentary canal and digestive glands also in our body. So, digestive system consists of alimentary canal and digestive glands also in our body. These parts of digestive system are mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. This is the ending point of the digestive system, which is extending a length of 6 to 9 meters in our body, and it is having both alimentary canal, all these parts, and in addition the digestive glands are salivary glands present in the mouth, liver, pancreas, liver, pancreas. So in our body all these will constitute the alimentary canal, and in addition we have digestive glands. Those glands are salivary glands, liver and pancreas, and in it we have our digestive system, the first starting point as mouth, and into this mouth we have we are holozoic and heterotrophic. Human beings are heterotrophic, they cannot prepare their own food, and at the same time the nutrition occurring in human being is holozoic. Already we have seen the types of nutrition, and in this holozoic nutrition we will take liquid or solid food at a time. Liquid or solid food is taken at a time. Such a type of nutrition is called holozoic nutrition, and in this nutrition we have the steps of nutrition as 5. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, lastly defecation or egestion also you can write. So we have 5 steps in our nutrition. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and defecation. Ingestion means we are keeping food in our mouth. Keeping food in our mouth. Suppose if you want to take any, either the liquid or the solid, you have to take it with mouth only. That too we have to keep it in mouth and then swallow. That keeping food in mouth is called ingestion. Keeping food in mouth is called ingestion. That is the first step of nutrition occurring in all the animal bodies, occurring in all the animals. This is the first step. But if you compare amoeba, amoeba will take food through pseudopodia. Amoeba, paramecium, they will take food. Paramecium, a separate mouth is there, but as amoeba has no particular mouth in its body, it takes through pseudopodia into its body. So as mouth is absent, and in the mouth we have, mouth is covered by upper and lower lips. Mouth is covered by upper and lower lips, and in these lips only we doesn't have any sweat glands. In lips sweat glands are absent. In lips, that's why on lips we doesn't feel any sweat any time. That is the reason. So upper and lower lips are there, and these upper and lower lips open into a cavity called buccal cavity. After mouth we have the buccal cavity. The space inside the mouth is called buccal cavity. Space inside mouth is called buccal cavity. That means when we open our mouth, inside we will keep the food. That food will be staying for a few seconds. That space inside the mouth is called buccal cavity. And in the buccal cavity we have an upper jaw and lower jaw. Upper jaw is called maxilla and lower jaw is called mandible. Upper jaw is called maxilla and lower jaw is called mandible, and the structure which separates the buccal cavity to the nasal cavity is called palate. Structure which separates buccal cavity to nasal cavity is called palate. Structure which separates buccal cavity to nasal cavity is called palate. Angili. In Telugu we will call it as angili. So it keeps separated from the buccal cavity to the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity means within the nose some cavity will be present, that is called nasal cavity, and this palate will be having two parts. The front portion is hard and have projections called palatine rugae, and the back portion is soft and it will be opening into the pharynx through a projection called uvula. So here the starting point of the digestive system is mouth. Already we have seen. Here the first step of nutrition, that is ingestion, will occur. Ingestion means we are keeping the food into our mouth, and that food processing of keeping the food into our mouth is called ingestion. But amoeba takes its food through pseudopodia, and this mouth is covered by both upper and lower lips, and on the lips we doesn't have any sweat glands in our lips. This mouth has a cavity. The space present inside the mouth is called buccal cavity, and we have two jaws in our mouth. They are upper jaw and lower jaw. Upper jaw is maxilla and lower jaw is the mandible. Upper jaw is maxilla and lower jaw is mandible, and these two, the nasal cavity and the buccal cavity, will be separated by a structure called palate, and the front portion of the palate is hard, which is called the palatine rugae. Why? Because they are small projections which will be coming out, that is called the palatine rugae, and the soft palate which is at the back of the roof of the mouth. Simply, what is the roof of the mouth in our body? Palate. And what is its function? It separates the buccal cavity to the nasal cavity. What is its function? Means it separates the buccal cavity to the nasal cavity, and it have some transverse ridges called palatine rugae, and the soft palate which is present at the back portion is opening by a small projection into the pharynx by a structure called uvula. And inside the mouth we have teeth, tongue and salivary glands. Inside the mouth we have teeth, tongue and salivary glands. So upper and lower lips, no sweat glands. Buccal cavity, space inside the mouth. Upper jaw is maxilla, lower jaw is mandible, and the structure which separates the buccal cavity to the nasal cavity is palate, and the front portion of the palate is hard and has some transverse ridges. You can write transverse ridges called palatine rugae, and the back portion of the palate is soft, which opens through a projection into the pharynx through a structure called uvula. And the structures which are present in our mouth are teeth, tongue and salivary glands. So let us see one by one. Tongue. Already it is one of the sense organ present in our body, and tongue will bear 4 taste, sweet and salt, sour, bitter, and on the tongue there are some papillae. These papillae are of 3 types again: circumvallate, foliate, fungiform, filiform, the fourth one also present, but foliate papilla is absent in our body, and thousands of taste buds will be present. Thousands of taste buds will be present in the mouth, tongue, and these taste buds are responsible for identifying the taste in our body. In addition, we will be eating sometimes chili. Chili sensation is only a chemical sensation, but not a chemical sensation. It is only a physical sensation which irritates the tongue. Sometimes you will be eating more spicy food. During that spicy food, you feel that you want to cut your tongue. So because of this chili, spicy nature, it is a physical sensation, but it doesn't have any taste in our body. And next, the sixth taste which is identified is umami. Sodium bisulfite. Sodium bisulfite, MSG, monosodium glutamate we will call. MSG, umami taste is nothing but MSG, which is found in seafoods mostly, and this is used for restaurant foods where it is identified as the sixth taste. Sixth taste. Normally we have only 4 types of taste in our body: sweet and salt, sour, bitter. But along with these, we will say that the fifth taste is somewhat chilly, spicy nature. But along with this, the sixth taste is MSG, monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate, which is found in seafoods mostly, and it is also known as metallic taste also. It is also known as metallic taste, which gives some particular flavor to restaurant foods. Because of that, if you eat the, what do you call that, biryani or something else in restaurants, no, they mix with this MSG. MSG means monosodium glutamate. It is creating a particular taste called metallic taste, which is nothing but umami. This taste is identified as another form of taste obtained in our. So, it is a muscular structure. Tongue is a muscular structure, and it is attached to the back by a structure called frenulum. Frenulum. By a structure called frenulum. Already in the sense organs we have seen all these. Tongue connected to the frenulum backside. It is a muscular structure and it has thousands of taste buds on the papillae. Chilli sensation is only a physical sensation. It does not cause any, what do you call that, chemical taste to our tongue. It causes only irritation. You can write irritation. Why your tongue is irritated sometimes? It may be asked like this. Why your tongue is irritated means it causes some spicy nature of food to the tongue. So because of that, as it is a physical sensation, it causes some irritation to our body. And the latest taste which is identified is umami. It is obtained through, because of the chemical called monosodium glutamate, and this monosodium glutamate gives metallic taste to the food, and this metallic taste is nothing but the taste which we call it as umami. So this is the recent taste which is identified, metallic taste, and it is seen in restaurant foods mostly. Because of that MSG, the food is being very tasty. Next structure found in our mouth is teeth. In human body, teeth are arranged in jaws. Such a type of the arrangement of jaws on the teeth, arrangement of teeth on the jaws, arrangement of teeth on the jaws is called thecodont dentition. We have many types of dentition in our body. Normally, the arrangement of teeth on the jaws, we have an upper jaw and lower jaw. Upper jaw is called the maxillae, and the lower jaw is called the mandible we call. And these teeth are arranged on those jaws. They are embedded in the sockets of the jaws, upper jaw and lower jaw. And we have diphyodont dentition. Diphyodont dentition means teeth will occur 2 times in our body. Teeth will come 2 times in our body. And we have heterodont dentition. Heterodont dentition is seen. Why? Because different types of teeth are there. Heterodont dentition means different types of teeth. We have 4 types of teeth in our body. 2 times teeth will occur. The first form of teeth is called milk teeth, and the later form of teeth are called permanent teeth. And once if the milk teeth are lost, the permanent teeth will be found, and once again the permanent teeth are lost, then no teeth will appear in your jaws. We call it as diphyodont. 2 times in our body they will appear, 2 times appear in our body. Hence the dentition is called diphyodont dentition. And we have different types of teeth. Those different types of teeth are called, what do you call that? Heterodont type of dentition. And this heterodont type of dentition, in that there are 4 types of teeth we will see further. So here diphyodont dentition, we have milk teeth first formed. They are 20 in number, and the later formed teeth are called permanent teeth. Milk teeth, other name is deciduous teeth. Milk teeth also known as deciduous teeth, and these deciduous teeth are also 20 in number. Milk teeth are deciduous teeth, and the dental formula written is 2102 by 2102, which constitute the this is called the dental formula, which is calculated in half of the jaw. Dental formula is determined in half of the jaw only. Dental formula is determined in half of the jaw. You can count here. Half of the jaw means 2 one side, 2 another side. 4. Altogether 8. 4, 12. 12 plus 8, 20. And permanent teeth are the teeth which appear after the falling of milk teeth at the age of 6 to 11 years of age. You know, we will call that as paladantalu. Paladantalu will be lost at the age of starting from 6 years. Starting from 6 years, it will be falling up to the age of 11 years. So, whenever the teeth falls down, in replacing them, the permanent teeth will come in those place. The permanent teeth are how many in number means 32 in number. Permanent teeth are 32 in number, and the dental formula of the permanent teeth 2, 1, 2, 3. Altogether 16, 16, 32 teeth. Here you can call it as 2, 3, 5, 10, 10. 20 teeth. You can calculate in half of the jaw only. 1 half, 2, 1, 2, 3. How many? 4, 5 plus 3, 8. 1 half, 8, 8. Other half, 8, 8. 16, 16, altogether 32. It is called the dental formula. It is called the dental formula. And what are the 4 types of teeth are? 4 types of teeth are incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Incisors, canines, premolars, molars. These are the names of the 4 teeth. You can write it here. Incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Here. So in this we have incisors are the first teeth form. They are chisel shaped. They are helpful for cutting. Hence they are called the cutting teeth. Sizzle shaped, they are helpful for cutting. If you bite an apple, if you cut an apple, if you cut a guava, which teeth are helpful for cutting a guava in your body? One competitive exam it is asked. For cutting a guava with your teeth, which teeth are helpful? Which teeth are helpful for cutting a apple or for cutting an apple or guava? Incisors are helpful. And which teeth are well developed in carnivorous animals? Dagger shaped. These are dagger shaped. Canines are dagger shaped, and these dagger shaped which are pointed and they are helpful for tearing. These are tearing teeth, these are cutting teeth, these are the general names, normal names which we can call for incisors, canines, all these. And in some organisms such as fishes, the teeth will appear continuously any number of times. Such a type of dentition is called polyphyodont dentition. Examples are fishes. In fishes, many times the teeth will appear continuously in the form of pointed structures. Such a type of dentition is called polyphyodont dentition. And you can write that polyphyodont, in addition to the fishes, you have frogs, lizards also can have polyphyodont dentition. So polyphyodont means teeth will appear number of times in your body. Teeth will appear number of times in your body. And how many types of teeth are there means? There are 4 types of teeth. They are incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Incisors are sizzle shaped. They are helpful for cutting, mainly for cutting the fruits, mainly for cutting in substance which is kept in our mouth. Whatever the substance which is kept in your mouth. For example, if you want to take out the sugar cane and suck the juice, what teeth are helpful are asked means A. Incisors, B. premolars, C. Canines, D. Molars. Canines. We have to write canines. Why? Because we will keep the side teeth to tear the peel of sugar cane. Peel of sugar cane. So after peeling only we will eat it. Without peeling we will not eat it. So these premolars and molars are rectangular and flat. Rectangular and flat. They are helpful for chewing and grinding. Chewing and grinding teeth are premolars and molars in our body. So there are 4 types of teeth. They are, what do you call that? Incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Hence the dentition is called heterodont dentition. Hetero, different. Homo means fishes will come. Homo means fishes will come. Homodont type of dentition. Fishes, frogs, all the amphibians, all the reptiles will have homodont dentition. If you see a lizard or a garden lizard, they have all teeth as similar. All the teeth, homodont, here we can write homodont, polyphyodont. Homodont means same type of teeth are there. Polyphyodont means number of times they will appear. If only 2 times they appear, diphyodont in our body. Heterodont means we have number of different teeth, 4 different types of teeth. Homodont means only same type of teeth are present. Polyphyodont means number of times the teeth will appear. Like that many types of teeth are there. Acrodont type of teeth in frogs and lizards, acrodont type of teeth. And what do you call that? Polyphyodont already we have seen. And next bunodont teeth. Bunodont teeth means in particular animals such as pig, human being and monkey, we have bunodont type of teeth where the molars will be having some tubercles, and selenodont type, cecodont type and cecodont type are present in selenodont in ruminating animals such as buffaloes, cows, sheep, goats, all those. And coelodont teeth are present in horse, and cecodont teeth are present in cats. cecodont teeth are present in cats. So based on their shape, they are performing a particular function. And the last molar teeth will appear at the age of 18 to 25 years of age. Such type of teeth are called wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth. In Telugu we will call gnana dantalu. Those teeth will appear at the age of 18 to 25 years and they are not helpful to our body. These are called vestigial. Vestigial organ means useless. They are not of any use. In some persons, during the age of after 18 or 20 years of age, sometimes what do you say that the last end of the jaw will be paining, causing some infection. So that is occurring due to the wisdom teeth. This wisdom teeth will not completely come out and they will come out some part and some part will be left behind within the what do you call that jaw, and some infection will be caused particularly due to a bacterium called what do you call that the bacterium which causes the disease is Streptococcus mutans. Streptococcus mutans is the bacterium which causes a disease to the teeth. Streptococcus mutans is the bacteria which is causing a disease particularly due to the infection in the teeth, and the lost teeth will be replaced by another teeth such as silver teeth or cement teeth or whatever it is by a treatment called root canal treatment. Damaged teeth will be replaced by teeth called different substances with different substances, and those are that type of therapy is called root canal therapy, which is now much used by many of us. Root canal therapy. And coming to the structure of the tooth, in the structure of the tooth we have three parts. Crown, this is the crown, and this is the neck, and this is the root, where here jaw will be present like this, jaw, and here the root will be embedded in the jaw, and neck is the connecting structure of the crown and the root, and in the crown the exposed part of the tooth is called the crown, and tooth is made up of a substance called dentine, and this is covered by a shiny structure called enamel. This dentine is the hardest substance in our body, just like bone. Other than bone, the hardest substance is enamel. We can break the bone with our teeth, but we cannot break a teeth with a teeth. Why? Because it is made up of a hard substance just similar to our bone, except Haversian canals. Dentine is similar to our bone. Except Haversian canals. If you study the tissues, automatically you come to know about Haversian canals in the bones. Haversian canals are absent in dentine. As they are absent, it is the strongest substance. It was asked in one competitive exam also. What was the strongest substance in our body? Dentine. And what is the shiny structure present on your teeth? What is the substance where the shiny nature to the teeth was given? That is enamel. Enamel is the substance where the shiny nature to the tooth was given. And here inside the tooth there is a cavity called pulp cavity, and in this pulp cavity there are nerves, blood vessels which supply the blood to the tooth. And how the tooth will be damaged in our body means, if we eat more amount of sugary foods, if you eat more amount of sugary foods, automatically acids will be formed from sugars. These acids will be neutralized by the saliva in our mouth. Acids will be formed in your mouth. Those acids will spoil if the enamel is lost in your tooth due to less brushing. If brushing is less, what happens is, if the pH reduces than 5.3 below, the pH will reduce. Then it leads to the damage of the tooth. And that damage, what do you call that? Toothache. Toothache or tooth decay. We call it as tooth decay. Tooth decay is caused due to the lessening of the enamel, and if this enamel reduces, automatically acids will be accumulated on the tooth. If these acids are there, the bacteria by name Streptococcus mutans, this is the bacteria which cause the damage to the tooth, and these bacteria will cause the gap between the root and the jaw. So because of this, the blood vessels and the nerves will be loosened, and thereby if you drink cool water or if you eat more sweets, you will get a toothache of some jerk like movement occurring near your teeth. So that is occurring due to the distance created between the root and the jaw. Because of this, the nerves and blood vessels will be loosened. Thereby we will be getting the tooth decay. And if this tooth decay has to be reduced, normally our saliva will be neutralizing the acid produced by sugars. But if that enamel is lost, yellowing of teeth leads to the dental plaque. Dental plaque means yellowing of teeth. పసుపు పచ్చగా మారిపోతాయి అన్నమాట. When your teeth appears to be yellow, automatically you are nearer to tooth decay. That means your tooth will become damaged nearer time. So that will be treated by with the help of what do you call that? Root canal therapy. Root canal therapy is used for treating those teeth, and two types of teeth are formed in our body, that is called diphyodont dentition. We have the dentition in our body as thecodont, diphyodont, heterodont. Thecodont means in the jaws they are arranged. Diphyodont means 2 times occur. Heterodont means different types of teeth are there. 2 times milk teeth and permanent teeth. Milk teeth are also known as deciduous teeth. They are 20 in number and they fall at the age of 6 to 11 years. And the dental formula is 2102. This is important. Dental formula of milk teeth and dental formula of permanent teeth. Dental formula will be calculated in half of the jaw only. Homodont, polyphyodont are present in fishes, frogs and lizards. Acrodont also. And selenodont, all these in ruminating animals. And tooth is made up of hardest substance called dentine and enamel. And the exposed part of the tooth is crown. And the connecting structure of the crown and the root is neck. And the part which fixes in the jaw is root. And inside the tooth there is a cavity called pulp cavity, which consists of nerves and blood vessels. And coming to these 4 types of teeth, incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Incisors are also known as cutting teeth. They are chisel shaped. Canines are dagger shaped, pointed shaped dagger, and they are helpful for teeth. In carnivorous animals, the teeth which are highly developed are canines. And in elephant, the what do you call the tusks? The tusks are nothing but the modified incisors. In elephant, the tusks are the modified incisors. And in herbivorous animals, particularly in ruminating animals, the canines are absent, and that space, empty space, is called diastema. The space present between these are absent, and the space present between the incisors and premolars is called diastema. What is its use? It means it keeps the grass stiffly and chew it. The partially digested food in the ruminant animals is called cud. Cud we will call. So, and the premolars and molars are rectangular and flat. They are helpful for chewing and grinding. And the last molar teeth is falls at the age of 18 to 25 years of age, and that is called wisdom teeth. These wisdom teeth are of no use in our body. They are vestigial, useless vestigial organs, and the root will be treated with the help of root canal treatment. The damaged tooth, and the tooth will be damaged due to a bacterium called Streptococcus mutans. And why this is damaged means due to the yellowing of teeth, plaque, dental plaque and tooth decay. Dental plaque and tooth decay. You can also given like this. Due to fluorosis, what happens to the tooth? Tooth becomes yellow due to the fluorosis, more fluorine content in water. And pyorrhea. Pyorrhea means nothing but from the jaws and tooth. From the jaws and what do you call the tooth, some pus will come out. That is called pyorrhea. And gingivitis, we will call gingivitis another disease. And if the jaw present between the two teeth is damaged, then the disease caused is gingivitis. Pyorrhea, gingivitis and dental plaque are the three diseases caused to our tooth. These are the three diseases caused to our tooth. Disease pyorrhea is caused due to the occurrence of pus from tooth and jaws. And next, due to infection. Gingivitis occurs due to the what do you call that jaw swelling. And fluorosis, already you know fluorosis is another disease which attacks the teeth becoming yellow in color due to the more fluorine content in water. Okay, it is one of the mineral which is caused, and because of all these we got some damage to the tooth, and the permanent therapy or treatment which is done for treating the damaged tooth is called root canal therapy. Another structure present in our mouth is salivary glands. We have seen tongue. Tongue is a muscular structure which is helpful for identifying the taste, and that identification of the taste is done with the help of tongue. And after that we have many number of teeth in our body which is helpful for chewing and grinding and breaking the food into smaller particles, and then only ingesting after mixing with the saliva. Saliva is helpful for mixing the food thoroughly. Saliva keeps your food in a what do you call that a paste like manner. That saliva is produced by salivary glands which are present in our mouth only. How many pairs of salivary glands are there means? There are 3 pairs of salivary glands. They are parotid glands, submaxillary glands, sublingual glands. Parotid glands are present near the ear. You know, a disease will occur in our body due to the swelling of parotid glands called mumps. It is a viral disease which is caused due to the swelling of parotid glands, and those parotid glands will swell due to the attack by a virus which causes what do you call that the opening of the mouth also to be difficult to take in food. So these parotid glands are situated near the ear. These are the pair, and all these 3 will secrete per day about 1 to 1.5 liter of saliva. 1 to 1.5 liter of saliva in our body will be secreted, and these parotid glands which are situated near the ear, they open into the buccal cavity or vestibule through a duct called Stenson's duct. The duct which opens into mouth, into buccal cavity, you can call, into buccal cavity is Stenson's duct. Stenson's duct is responsible for opening of the parotid glands into the, what do you call that, buccal cavity. And next one, submaxillary glands are present at the angles of the lower jaw. Angles of the lower jaw, and they open into the mouth through Wharton's duct. Wharton's duct. Through Wharton's duct. They all will secrete, pour the saliva into the buccal cavity or mouth, into our mouth through separate tubes. Those separate tubes names were there. Stenson's duct, angles of the lower jaw they will be present, and through Wharton's duct they will open into the mouth, and sublingual glands are present below the tongue. Below the tongue they open through duct of Rivinus. So how many pairs of salivary glands are there, and how much amount of saliva is secreted per a day? In a competitive exam it will be asked. 1 liter, first option. Second option 1 to 1.5 liter. Third option 2 liters. Fourth option half liter. What is the option right? 1 to 1.1.5 liters. 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva will be secreted per a day, and the pH of saliva is 6.8. pH means potential of hydrogen ions is 6.8. Already we have seen just now that tooth, if you take more sugary foods, automatically the sugars are converted to acids. More sugary foods, the sugars are converted to acids, and those acids will be neutralized by the saliva. Acid will be neutralized by the saliva secreted in our mouth. So which is the acid neutralized, acid base, both are, saliva is basic. Saliva is nearly basic, nearer to 7 basic. Hence, as both are useful, slightly acidic in nature. Saliva is slightly acidic in nature, so automatically they will become neutralized, and these 3 pairs of salivary glands will secrete about 1 to 1.5 liter of saliva, and parotid glands near the ear they are situated. They open into the mouth through Stenson's ducts, and they secrete some saliva into the mouth, and the disease caused due to the parotid glands is mumps, due to a virus attacking these glands. Swelling or inflammation of these glands will occur, and submaxillary glands, angles of lower jaw will be there, and Wharton's ducts, through Wharton's ducts they will open, and lastly sublingual glands below the tongue they are present, and the duct of Rivinus is responsible for opening of the salivary gland into the buccal cavity or mouth, and per day it will be secreting about 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva. This saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase or tyalin, and along with this it will secrete some mucin and lysozyme. The function of mucin is lubricating the food. The function of lysozyme is it kills the microorganisms which enter into our mouth. Normally, while we are eating, we cannot observe any of the microorganisms, and the microorganisms may enter with the help of our hands or through air or through food also it may enter. And this lysozyme is the enzyme which will see the microorganisms not to be entering into your body. And another one is this salivary amylase has an action over carbohydrate. We will see this in digestion of digestive process of digestion. We will see what is the action of salivary amylase, and the digested food in mouth is called bolus. Digested food in mouth is called bolus. So, in this way, mouth consists of teeth, tongue, salivary glands. Teeth, heterodont, diphyodont, thecodont, dentition is there in our body. What are the four different types of teeth means? Incisors, canines, premolars, molars. Dental formula 2 1 2 3 2 by 2 1 2 3. And milk teeth and are also known as deciduous teeth. Permanent teeth are 32 in number. Milk teeth are 20 in number. And what is the enzyme present in the saliva? The enzyme present in the saliva is salivary amylase or tyalin. How many pairs of salivary glands are there? 3 pairs of salivary glands are there. What are the salivary glands situated near the ear? Parotid glands. And which glands are affected due to a disease called mumps? What glands are affected due to a disease called mumps? Mumps is nothing but inflammation of the parotid glands which are near the ear, and all the 3 salivary glands will secrete about 1 to 1.5 liter of saliva. The enzyme present in the saliva is salivary amylase or tyalin, and which helps in killing the microorganisms, lysozyme, which keeps lubrication of the food, mucin or mucus you can say. And digested food in the mouth is called bolus. Digested food in the mouth is called bolus. So, in this way, mouth consisting of tooth, teeth, tongue and salivary glands is completed. Now, let us see the next part, pharynx. Pharynx is the common passage for both food and air. Common passage for both food and air. Common passage for both food and air. Why? Because here, as it is the common passage, why we are calling is like this in our body. If you draw the digestive, I will draw the digestive system now after this. So here it is the common passage here where it opens into 2 passages like this. Here this is the digestive system and this is the respiratory system like this. So it is the common passage for both food and air, and in this there is no digestion occurring, and we can test the pH, the chemical nature of the food can be tested with the help of litmus paper test also. And as we are diurnal, we are active during the daytime, more saliva will be produced during the daytime rather than night time. That's why if you sleep during the daytime, automatically you will wet the pillow. You will wet the pillow because of more saliva secretion during the daytime, as we are diurnal animals. Diurnals means daytime active. Nocturnal means nighttime active. Based on the active nature of the body, organisms are divided in 2 types, diurnals and nocturnals. Diurnals means which are active during the daytime, nocturnals means which are active during the night time. And as we are active during the daytime, more saliva will be secreted during the daytime. Okay. And next, coming to the pharynx, we have pharynx is the common passage for both food and air, and this pharynx is the common passage and it is divided into 3 parts, nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. So this nasopharynx is opening into the nasal cavity. Nasopharynx is opening into the nasal cavity, and oropharynx is the middle part and laryngopharynx is the last part, which opens into the digestive system and respiratory system. So this nasopharynx opens into the nasal cavity, the first part, and oropharynx is the middle part, and this laryngopharynx opens into what do you call that? Respiratory system and digestive system. Esophagus and respiratory passages. They have two openings. Laryngopharynx have two openings. One open into the digestive system and the other opens into the respiratory system. And here there is a structure called glottis, and this glottis have epiglottis which avoids the passage of food and air into the lungs. You can write lungs. You know, in Telugu it is called as konda naluka. It prevents the entry of food and what do you call that, air, food and water into the lungs. And you have tonsils nearer to the pharynx. Tonsils nearer to the pharynx. And these tonsils are of three types. They are pharyngeal tonsils or adenoids. This is the lymphoid tissue. It is made up of lymphoid tissue. First tonsils is pharyngeal tonsils or adenoids. Second, palatine tonsils. Palatine tonsils is the second one. And the third one is lingual tonsils. And when these tonsils swell due to an infection or due to the cold nature of the foods, they lead to the swelling of the tonsils. Automatically it leads to the inflammation of the tonsils. And due to the mucus secreted in our mouth, mucin, the food will become moistened. If this saliva is absent, automatically the food will not become moistened. So saliva is helpful for proper moistening of the food and lubrication of the food. If this saliva is absent, automatically it does not lead to proper digestion occurring in our body also. Sometimes you may feel that your mouth is becoming dry due to a particular disorder in your body or fever. Due to high fever, you are not able to secrete more amount of saliva. Then you are not able to swallow the food also easily. Swallowing the food, you may feel that ingestion as a voluntary act, but swallowing is an involuntary act. It is not under our control. Swallowing is not under our control. Once you keep the food in your mouth, automatically it will enter your body without your permission. Such a type of action is called involuntary action. So, salivary glands, three pairs: parotid, submaxillary, sublingual. Parotid glands near the ear, through Stenson's ducts they will open. The disease occurring to the parotid glands is mumps. And submaxillary glands, they are present in the angles of lower jaw, through Wharton's ducts they will open. And sublingual glands, below the tongue they are present, and through the duct of Rivinus they will open. Saliva contains the enzyme salivary amylase or tyalin. Saliva pH is 6.8, slightly acidic. And the mucin which is secreted in the mouth is responsible for lubricating and moistening the food also. Lysozyme kills the microorganisms. And the digested food in the mouth is called bolus. And pharynx. Coming to the pharynx, it is a common passage for both food and air. It is divided into three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx opens into the nasal cavity. Oropharynx opens into the middle part of the body, middle part of the pharynx. And laryngopharynx opens into the esophagus or respiratory passages. One esophagus here and another one is here. This is the esophagus, one passage, and this is the second passage called the respiratory system. And here in this area where the respiratory passage is there, glottis is present, and at the junction of the glottis, epiglottis is present, which prevent the entry of food. You can see this in respiratory system more clearly. And lymphoid tissue called tonsils are also present near the pharynx. They are of three types again: pharyngeal tonsils are adenoids, palatine tonsils, second one, lingual tonsils, and these tonsils, if they swell due to the attack of a bacterium or virus or inflammation occurs, it leads to the swelling in near your throat that leads to the painful action in your body.